Coming to you from the State Champs Network studio, it's time for another show covering the fastest growing high school sport in the nation, lacrosse. Just 2,000 high school athletes played the sport 50 years ago. It's grown to well over 200,000, and it continues to grow at an incredible rate every year. This is State Champs Face-Off. My name's Lauren Plant. Sean Baligian and the coach Greg Durham will be along shortly. They'll be talking girls lacrosse with Livonia United's coach Chris Merucci and more. State Champs Face-Off presented by Lawrence Technological University. Several world-class undergraduate programs, over 24 NAIA Division II level varsity sports, including men's and women's lacrosse. The NAIA Women's National Championships will be at LTU this season, May 4th through the 7th. Check it out. The LTU women's lacrosse team currently ranked #1 in the nation. Recruit yourself by visiting LTUathletics.com. Let's begin with this week's highlights. Let's start with the ladies on the west side of the state. Two teams in our State Champs Top 10 rankings squaring off as number 3 Forest Hills Northern Eastern at home to take on the 9-time Division I state champs, Rockford. Northern Eastern got off to a good start in this one, leading 8-3 at the break. Rockford fought back in the second half. Isabel Osborne led the team with 4 goals, but it wasn't enough. Elena Davis put up 5 tallies. Northern Eastern takes down Rockford 12-10 the final. Staying on the west side, the Rockford boys squad at home to take on East Grand Rapids. Pioneers ranked 6th in our latest rankings, getting it done. Led by the junior Drew Jakowski, put up a 5-spot. East Grand Rapids a 14-7 victory over their rivals from Rockford. To the east side of the mitten for a Catholic League tussle, Royal Oak Shrine hosting the Falcons from Dearborn Divine Child. Both teams exchanging goals in the opening quarter with Shrine leading 4-3. The Knights would kick off from there. The senior Connor Benson finding the twine with regularity. He netted a game-high 6 goals. Knights take down Divine Child. Your final score, 12-8. You know, we take great pride in our corporate sponsors and the professionals with the Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine team. Well, they're one of the best. If you're in pain or injured, simply log on to dmc.org/gamechangers and they will take care of you right away. Here on the network, Game Changers are quick-hitting segments designed to make you a faster, stronger, healthier athlete. I have a pop quiz for you. Do all sports at some point allow you to reach your maximum speed? True or false? Let's find out.
Hi, I'm Laura Ramos with DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine with today's Game Changers Pop Quiz. True or false? Most field and court sports do not allow an athlete to reach their maximum speed. The answer is true. During most field and court sports, athletes rarely sprint for longer than 2 to 3 seconds, and therefore they rarely reach their maximum speed. Instead, athletes are relying on their acceleration speed. Acceleration describes how quickly an athlete can get to their maximum speed. Because in sport, most of the time athletes are accelerating, decelerating, and changing direction, it is just as important to train your acceleration speed as it is your maximum speed.
Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Then go where the pros go. DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. For immediate care, call 313-910-9328 or visit dmc.org/gamechangers. That's all for me. Time to turn it over to the real stars of the show, Sean Baligian and Greg Durham.
Well, thank you very much, Lauren Plant, and welcome into another edition of Face Off. That's right, we are talking lacrosse here on the State Champs Network, joined as always by the head man at Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Greg Durham. And without further ado, a very special guest. Let's welcome him in. He is the head coach of Livonia United, the girls squad, owner of Triumph Lacrosse. It's a lacrosse store in Plymouth as well. Wanted to give him a little love for that. He's doing a lot of good stuff for this game that we love. Let's welcome him in and say hello. Chris Merucci, kindly joining us. First of all, Coach, really appreciate you taking the time. How are you?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, tell me about this experience for you with Livonia United. I think it's fantastic. It's unique because obviously, I mean, the name says it all, Livonia United, but how has this been for you?
It's been fantastic. It really has. A group came to me back in late 2018 and talked about that they finally had um, the idea of starting lacrosse both in boys and girls in Livonia had finally been approved, and they had asked me if I wanted to be involved on the girls' side, and after a little coercing, I agreed to it. And I tell you, it's been fantastic. Something I've never looked back, and we've had some phenomenal teams and some student athletes go through it and end up at the next level as well.
How's it been dealing with a unified squad? Again, Livonia Unified, you're taking in, students from all the different schools. How's that been bringing them all together?
I thought it would be a little more difficult, to be honest with you, as far as personalities and the whole dynamics of different student athletes from different, possibly even demographics and whatnot. But they really, really have, for lack of a better term, united right from the very beginning. It's been a fantastic group with just positive culture from day one. I mean, we've won the division every year. We've had a team, which is fantastic, and that's a testament to the girls buying into the system and really checking their attitudes at the door and going all in.
Coach Durham, you're a little familiar with not only Livonia, but obviously the game of lacrosse as well. I'm sure that put a big smile on your face when they decided to bring it to Livonia, huh?
Yeah, I know for a fact that I think it was been pushed a few times before that, probably the last 15 years. I know because there's so many good lacrosse players just in Livonia. You don't think about it, but most of the guys are going to private schools in order to play. And then finally, I know like the Raptors got their program running up, and Chris has got Triumph, and and the girls' game is getting better. So it's really good. And one of the things I think, just my experience with Chris's team, just from the fact that my daughter plays, is that he just has great girls that really love the game. And what's funny is not my daughter, but a lot of other girls on the team, just they got other friends that want to play. And Chris has some really good athletes on his team, hockey players like Ava Perone. I watched that game the other night, and I was telling you, man, she's pretty darn good. Like, I was like, wow. And that she's not the only girl on the team. Like, you have several girls that are very talented, but it's really nice to see somebody who transitions from that hockey background easily into the lacrosse background, and you see how fluid she was. And it was really nice to see somebody that talented, and it's awesome to see she plays for you, so I thought it was awesome.
There's a ton of athletes in Livonia area, and going back hockey with Mike Madonna and all the others. I mean, it like Coach said, like Greg said, is for years they've pitched it, right, and the athletic directors didn't want it in their budget and whatnot. It's a pretty low revenue sport. It's a non-revenue sport, but the time had come. There's the fastest growing sport in the world, in North America. And it just there's too many athletes in that area for it not to be to be started. It's been a great response on the boys' end as well.
Hey, if you want to hear more of the conversation, make sure that you head on over to Spreaker.com and just search State Champs Face-Off. I want to take a look at some rankings that we put together. Let's start in the boys' side. There's some usual suspects in there to be sure, but one name jumped out to me that you're going to have to tell me a little something about, Coach Durham. Rice at the top, Forest Hill Central second, Detroit Catholic Central third, Heartland, Detroit Country Day, East Grand Rapids. Those are a lot of the usual suspects. Tell me about Hazlitt Williamston.
So Hazlitt has beat a couple good teams. They beat Okemos pretty well. They're playing well. I don't know enough about their players yet. I have to watch some film before I can do that. But they're playing well and they're winning. So, when teams are winning and they're playing and they're beating other good teams, you got to put them in the top 10. They're definitely a good team. Clarkston, like I said before, Clarkson is a really good team. They're not overpowering, but they're well balanced, and I guess that's the best word for it. And then you got Brighton's right there. I know Brighton, lost a couple teams, but they're a really talented team. And then I put Midland in there. Midland's a good team as well. I think they're 3-2, but they've had a tough schedule. And they're playing good ball. And there's some other teams that could have been in that bubble, but I feel that those are the top 10. I think that they all have good schedules and they're all playing pretty well. CC bumped down from 2 to 3, but I think Forest Hill Central's just maybe a touch better, but I'll see on Friday. I'll tell you that much. So
yeah,
we'll see how they are. And then Tuesday after that, I'll see how CC is, so I can compare and contrast next week. But it's a pretty good top 10, I think. And it's really close. There was a couple adjustments to what lax numbers, if anybody's really familiar with that. That's kind of the go-to now. Lax power used to be it, and lax numbers kind of became lax power. And there's usually some pretty good rankings there. They put them in Division 1A and Division 2 if you want to see it like that. The girls, DCD's rank 1. And by the way, Chris Merucci did help me with this list because he's, I trust him. So EGR is right there at 2. Like we said, those two will probably be in the Division 2 final. Forest Hills Northern and Brighton, Rockford, all three of those are really good teams. Forest Hill Central, Bloomfield Hills, Grand Rapids Catholic Central, they're 8th. Marion's 9th, and Marion I think has a losing record, but they just have a tough, brutal schedule. And then Cranbrook Heartland, Chris and I were talking about it, and I just said, you know what? They're both right there. We'll just put them both at 10. It's a very well balanced girls division. And if you notice, a lot of those schools are all the old guard, so it's really not, but it is a little bit different, but like I said, like Chris says, the girls game is spreading. It's getting better and better every time you see it.
That's all the time we have. Coach, always a pleasure. Thank you for everything you do, not only for this show, but for the sport, and good luck in your travels this week.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And then we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
You got it. For Coach Durham, I'm Sean Baligian saying thanks for listening or watching, as it were, Face Off here on the State Champs Network.
State Champs Face Off is presented by Lawrence Technological University. LTU offers over 24 varsity sports for men and women, along with several dozen world-class undergraduate programs. Athletic and academic scholarships are available in all sports. Visit ltuathletics.com and recruit yourself. Face Off is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Pros. Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers. Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female Athlete of the Year Awards. Stay tuned for the announcement of this year's 12 nominees coming soon. Who will be this year's Male and Female Athletes of the Year? Find out live Monday, June 6th, only on the State Champs Michigan Network. U.S. Navy recruiting, call 313-315-2560 and talk to a local officer to find out how the Navy can take you anywhere from the sea to the stars. Oakland School's technical campuses are designed for any student who wants to graduate high school with industry certifications, on-the-job experiences, business connections, and college credits. Check them out at ostconline.com.